Did you know that the whole Kitimat Valley right up to Terrace was covered in a glacier 25,000 years ago? Actually, the whole area was undersea millions of years ago and then ice, and once the ice melted, it was undersea again. The melting and movement of glaciers over long periods of time shaped our landscape, created the lakes we now know, and left behind debris. These geology and fossil specimens all come from the northwest region of British Columbia. This is why the museum collection is made up of many marine fossils like this ammonite, with some plant and insect fossils included. No dinosaurs in our area though. The term fossil refers to any trace of past life. A fossil may be an organism's remains such as plant, shells, teeth, or bones. A fossil record can also be of the activity of an organism such as footprints, burrows, and poop. A fossil is created when an animal or plant dies and the soft tissue like skin rots away. Water with minerals seep into the tiny pores from the bones and shells that have been left behind. These minerals then replace the bone and shell. Sediments pile on top of the object, and the pressure and heat produced by the weight of the sediments evaporates the water and hardens the bone or shells and surrounding sediments into a rock. A fossil is then born. Another way that fossils are formed is carbon replacement. The heat and pressure from being buried in sediment can sometimes cause the tissues of organisms, including the plant leaves and the soft body parts of fish, reptiles, and marine life, to release hydrogen and oxygen, leaving behind a residue of carbon. Much later, movements in the earth lift the rock containing the fossil. The rocks above the fossils are eroded by wind, ice, and water, leaving all the fossils to be found. There are scientists called paleontologists who spend their time studying the past through the fossil record. They evacuate fossils from the ground in order to study the past. Fossils have also been found by others, even kids hiking. Igneous rocks come from a word that means fire because the heat inside the earth is like fire, which means it can melt rocks. The name Igneous Rocks come from the melted rocks when they cool and harden that push up through the cracks in the Earth's crust. No matter what type of rock, all rocks will start off as molten magma. Eventually, the magma cools and will turn into a solid. Sedimentary rocks were created millions of years ago as wind blew dust and sand from igneous rocks, which is a process called weathering, into our lakes and oceans. This dust and sand then settled to the bottom in layers called sediment. Seashells formed layers of sediment as well. Over time, the layers hardened into the sedimentary rock we see today. Sedimentary comes from a word that means to settle. Sedimentary rock forms whenever layers of sediment and rock fragments build up over time. These strata are pressed and cemented together. Metamorphic rocks are rocks that are changed. The heat and pressure can cause a rock to change its structure, texture, and color as well. Sedimentary rock is exposed to new forces. Intense heat and pressure from mountain building or magma change the rock structure. It will form a metamorphic rock.